Ever wondered how a small, rainy island in the North Atlantic came to shape so much of the modern world? From the language many of us speak to the laws that govern us, England's influence is undeniable. But its story is a sprawling, dramatic epic, filled with conquest, revolution, and brilliant innovation. So, grab a cup of tea, and let's journey back through the centuries to uncover the incredible history of England. Our story begins not with kings and queens, but with mysterious stone circles. Long before the English existed, ancient peoples like the builders of Stonehenge left their mark on the landscape around 3000 BC. These monuments are silent witnesses to a sophisticated prehistoric culture we are still trying to fully understand. Fast forward a couple of thousand years, and Celtic tribes like the Britons inhabited the land. They were fierce warriors and skilled metalworkers, living in hill forts and farming the fertile soil. Their world was about to be turned upside down. In 43 AD, the Roman legions arrived. For nearly 4 centuries, Britannia was a province of the mighty Roman Empire. The Romans were master builders and administrators. They built straight roads, impressive villas with underfloor heating, and fortified cities like Londinium, modern-day London, and Eboracum, which we now call York. They also brought their laws, language, and customs, leaving a lasting imprint on the land. But as the Roman Empire began to crumble in the early 5th century, the legions were recalled, leaving Britannia vulnerable and undefended. Into this power vacuum came waves of Germanic tribes from mainland Europe, the Angles, the Saxons, and the Jutes. These were the Anglo-Saxons. They pushed the native Britons to the west into what is now Wales and Cornwall. Over time, they established several kingdoms, collectively known as the Heptarchy, including powerful ones like Wessex, Mercia, and Northumbria. This is the era of epic poems like Beowulf, of warrior kings, and the slow conversion to Christianity, thanks to missionaries like St. Augustine. The idea of Angleland, or England, was beginning to take shape. Just as the Anglo-Saxon kingdom started to unify, a new threat appeared on the horizon. From the late 8th century, Viking longships began raiding England's coasts. These Norsemen were not just raiders. They were explorers and settlers. They conquered vast swathes of northern and eastern England, an area that became known as the Danelaw. The fight for survival fell to the Kingdom of Wessex, led by one of England's most famous monarchs, Alfred the Great. Alfred didn't just fight the Vikings to a standstill. He also promoted education and law, laying the groundwork for a truly unified English kingdom. The Anglo-Saxon era came to a dramatic and bloody end in 1066, one of the most famous dates in English history. After the death of the childless King Edward the Confessor, 3 men claimed the throne. The English nobles chose Harold Godwinson, but he was challenged by Harold Hardrada of Norway, and most famously, William, Duke of Normandy. Harold defeated the Norwegians in the north, only to march his exhausted army south to face William at the Battle of Hastings. Harold was killed, and on Christmas Day 1066, William the Conqueror was crowned King of England. The Norman Conquest had begun. This wasn't just a change of king, it was a total transformation of English society. The Normans brought with them the French language, a feudal system of land ownership, and a passion for building stone castles, including the iconic Tower of London. The Old English aristocracy was replaced by Norman lords. This period created a fascinating cultural mix, blending Anglo-Saxon resilience with Norman organization and French sophistication, which eventually evolved into the English culture we recognize today. The Normans also compiled the Domesday Book, an incredibly detailed survey of the entire country, a testament to their administrative power. The medieval period that followed was defined by the power struggles between kings and their barons. This tension famously boiled over in 1215 when King John was forced by his rebellious nobles to sign the Magna Carta. This great charter wasn't a document for the common person, but it established a crucial principle that even the king was not above the law. It was a first tentative step on the long road toward constitutional government and individual rights, a concept that would echo around the world for centuries. The Middle Ages were also a time of conflict, most notably the 100 Years' War against France, which gave us legendary figures like Henry V and the devastating Black Death, a plague that wiped out nearly half the population. But out of these turbulent centuries, a stronger English identity emerged. The English language, a blend of Old English and Norman French, finally became the language of the court and government. By the end of this period, England, though scarred by war and plague, was a more unified and self-aware nation. The 16th century brought the Tudors, perhaps England's most famous dynasty. It began with Henry VII, who ended the Wars of the Roses, but it's his son, Henry VIII, who dominates the era. Henry's desperate desire for a male heir led him to break with the Roman Catholic Church, creating the Church of England and sparking the English Reformation. This was a time of immense religious and political turmoil. His daughter, Elizabeth I, the Virgin Queen, inherited a divided nation but navigated it with incredible skill. Her reign is often called a golden age, a time of relative stability, overseas exploration by figures like Sir Francis Drake, and the literary genius of William Shakespeare. After Elizabeth's death, the Stuart dynasty came to the throne, uniting the crowns of England and Scotland. But the Stuarts' belief in the divine right of kings clashed with an increasingly powerful parliament. This conflict exploded into the English Civil War in the 1640s. The country was torn apart as parliamentarians, led by Oliver Cromwell, fought against the royalists loyal to King Charles V. The war ended with a shocking event, the execution of the king. For a brief period, England became a republic, the Commonwealth, under Cromwell's rule. But after his death, the monarchy was restored, though its power was forever changed. The late 17th century saw the Glorious Revolution, which further limited the monarch's power and established Parliament as the supreme governing body. This new political stability, combined with scientific breakthroughs from minds like Isaac Newton, set the stage for England's next great transformation. From the mid-18th century, the Industrial Revolution began. New inventions like the steam engine and the mechanization of factories turned England from a rural agricultural society into the world's first industrial powerhouse. Cities like Manchester and Birmingham exploded in size, but this progress came at a huge human cost, with terrible working conditions and widespread poverty. This industrial might fueled the expansion of the British Empire. Over the 19th and early 20th centuries, under Queen Victoria, Britain built the largest empire in history, famously described as the empire on which the sun never sets. England's influence, its language, its legal systems, and its sports spread across the globe. But the 20th century brought immense challenges. Two devastating world wars drained the nation's wealth and spirit. While Britain stood defiant against tyranny, particularly in World War II, the post-war world was different. The empire gradually dismantled, and England had to find a new place in the world. From the Stone Age to the digital age, England's story is one of constant change, invasion, and reinvention. It is a history that has left its mark not just on the beautiful landscapes and ancient cities of the island itself, but on the entire world. It's a tale of resilience, innovation, and the enduring struggle for power and liberty. Thank you so much for joining me on this whirlwind tour through the history of England. If you enjoyed this journey, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next historical adventure. Let me know in the comments which part of English history you find most fascinating. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.